20 years of war between Taliban and United States, which started after 9/11 attack when US and its allies invaded Afghanistan and toppled the Taliban-ruled Islamic Emirate. In war, 6,000 Americans died and over 100K Afghans lost lives, including children and women. More than 2 trillion spent by the US, and the speed of Taliban's takeover of Afghanistan has shocked the world. So how Afghanistan fell to Taliban so quickly, and is India next? In mid of April, US President Joe Biden announced that all the American troops would leave the country by September 11th. As US troops began withdrawing, the Taliban fighters mobilized, and by the end of May, the group led by Habibullah Akhundzada had set up dozens of temporary checkpoints, as well as more than 10 permanent outposts along the country, which showed that group was still powerful even after 20 years of war, while also weakening Afghans' faith on their own government. Instead of the fact that Afghan forces had higher number of personnel, which were trained and provided with modern equipment by US military, it still was seen to have no match with Taliban fighters, which only ranged half the Afghan forces. By the end of the May, the US strikes on Taliban decreased, and Taliban launched waves of attacks on vulnerable provinces, including Zabul, Ghazni, and Logar. The war shifted to ground combat between Afghan forces and the militants. Hundreds of Taliban fighters massed Helmand and launched an assault on the capital, Lashkargah. July 8, as Taliban continued to make gains and security in Afghanistan appeared to disintegrate, but Biden defended his decision to vacate, saying he will not send another generation of Americans to war. By the beginning of the August, Taliban was advancing on territory it had not seized in 2 decades. The group had previously made gains only in rural areas. Now they were testing densely populated economic centers. On August 6th, Taliban seized its first provincial capital, Zaranj. The city fell without fight as Afghan forces fled the scene. The other day, group took over another capital, and the group kept on moving through more cities after cities, and Afghan troops kept on hiding, fleeing, and eventually surrendering to Taliban without fight. On August 12th and 13th, Taliban had overrun Afghanistan's second and third largest cities, as well as city of Lashkargah in the southwest. When events were assuring that Kabul is about to fall, 3,000 combat troops were sent by US government to evacuate diplomats, civilians, and Afghans who helped US during the war. As more provinces and capitals around the country fell, Ghani said in his address to nation on 14th August that he was aware of the situation in Afghanistan, which is in serious danger of instability. And the next day, Taliban forces entered Kabul, and Ghani fled the country, which signaled the collapse of the government and declared the war is over. And this sudden collapse caused tens of thousands of Afghans to flee. 9 days after seizing first provincial capital, the group took control of virtually the entire nation. On 16th August, Taliban leader Abdul Ghani Brother declared Afghanistan's president, and Afghanistan's name was changed to Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan. After the takeover of Taliban, US decided to depart the country on 30th August, a day ahead of schedule. The last US troop left Afghanistan on August 30th at 11:59, leaving behind billions of dollars worth of US military and weaponry. Many of them were disabled by US troops before departing, but still lots of weapons left behind in best operating condition, making the group not only back in power but better equipped military than ever before. The takeover of Taliban has shocked everyone, but do they have the power to shock again? Is India their next target? Check out the truth behind in the next video.